A shocking event once again shook the international entertainment world. Taehyung, a figure who has always been known as calm and full of control, suddenly could not hold back his tears when he heard a shocking confession that came not from anyone else, but from the person closest to Jungkook, namely his own mother. The confession was not just an ordinary story, but related to a strange health condition that had never been known to the public. Big questions immediately arose in the minds of fans. Is it true that Jungkook's health is not in a completely good situation? Or is there something bigger deliberately hidden behind the scenes? This incident not only made Taehyung appear fragile in public, but also created a wide shockwave among the army. Because every detail about Jungkook's health has always been tightly covered, almost never discussed openly. When his mother revealed the existence of a condition considered strange in her son's body, wild speculation immediately spread across various lines of discussion, both on social media and fan forums. Not a few interpreted that the condition could be a sign that Jungkook was facing a heavy health burden, which he may have tried to hide all this time to protect his image and career. Why did Taehyung cry so emotionally when he heard this? That question seemed to be the core of all the commotion that occurred. In a friendship that has lasted for more than a decade, Taehyung certainly knows more about Jungkook than outsiders. The tears shed were not just an ordinary emotional reaction, but could be interpreted as a signal that what Jungkook's mother revealed truly carried great weight, so great that it could not be covered with smiles or diplomatic words. This was a form of emotional transparency that Taehyung rarely showed in public spaces. On the other hand, the public began to ask more fundamental questions. Why did this confession only emerge now? Was there a particular reason that made Jungkook's mother finally speak? And why did the moment immediately trigger such a large emotional response from Taehyung? In the South Korean entertainment world, openness regarding the health of artists is very rarely done. Entertainment companies tend to keep such secrets in order to avoid negative speculation that could affect commercial value or business contracts. However, the fact that this time it came from a parent made the situation increasingly difficult to ignore. ARMY, who have always been known to be very protective of Jungkook, immediately reacted with mixed emotions of surprise, worry, and confusion. Many felt that Jungkook had borne the burden in silence for too long, until finally the situation was revealed without being able to be prevented. The emotional reaction of ARMY can be understood, because Jungkook is not just an idol for them, but a figure who has always been considered a source of life spirit. When the health of their idol is questioned, the fear of loss seems to envelop the feelings of millions of people around the world. Furthermore, the confession about this strange health is not only a physical problem, but also raises reflections about how the global entertainment system treats its artists. Has Jungkook been forced to continue appearing perfect even though his body's condition does not support it? Is there internal pressure that makes the health problem worse? And why did those closest to him feel the need to speak at a time like this? All these questions hung without definite answers, making the atmosphere increasingly tense and full of speculation. What made the situation even more dramatic was the fact that Taehyung's tears only emphasized how serious this problem was. If it had only been a small matter, it would have been impossible for Taehyung, who is known to be able to hide his emotions in public, to shed tears. The public became increasingly convinced that something bigger was happening behind the scenes. Even entertainment analysts assessed that this could be a turning point in the relationship between artists, families, and the entertainment industry itself. Meanwhile, several discussions among fans began to link this condition to some signs that had long been considered trivial. Some recalled that there were certain moments when Jungkook did not appear completely fit, whether on stage or during live broadcasts. Facial expressions, body gestures, even long pauses when speaking are now replayed and analyzed with a new perspective. Were all those hints that had long been ignored? Was the public too enchanted by Jungkook's charm to fail to read the real signs? ARMY's reaction became even more emotional when this issue was seen not just as a matter of health, but also as a matter of humanity. Many voiced that an artist, no matter how great his popularity, is still a human being with a vulnerable body and feelings. Taehyung's sadness, Jungkook's mother's confession, and ARMY's panic seemed to meet at one point. The demand that the truth be revealed clearly, without any attempt to cover up facts for certain interests. The question is Is that possible in an industry that has always tightly controlled the narrative? For some, this moment also showed another side of Taehyung and Jungkook's friendship. Taehyung's tears were considered a form of sincere solidarity, a sign that behind all controversies, rivalries, and pressures, they still take care of each other even in the most difficult situations. However, for skeptics, those tears instead raised new suspicions. Did Taehyung know something bigger? Something not yet fully revealed even by Jungkook's mother? If that is true, is the public only seeing a small part of a much more serious problem? This situation has now turned into a big puzzle with no answers. ARMY is at a crossroads between fully believing Jungkook's mother's confession or questioning the motive behind the moment. Meanwhile, Taehyung's tears are visual proof that is hard to refute, that there is a great emotional burden being borne between them. All this ultimately raises deeper questions. Is the entertainment industry ready to face the reality that one of its global icons may be in a fragile condition? And is the public ready to accept if the truth revealed later is far more shocking than imagined? Whatever the answer, one thing is clear. This moment has shaken the foundation of fans' trust in the narratives they have always accepted. Jungkook's health is no longer just a personal issue, but has become a global issue that touches the hearts of millions of people. And Taehyung's tears, in their emotional honesty, have become a symbol that behind the glittering stage, there is a bitter reality that cannot continue to be hidden. The question is, how far is the public willing to search for the truth? And how ready are they to accept the consequences? The shock caused by Jungkook's mother's confession and Taehyung's tears has now entered a new, more complex phase. Emotions alone are not enough. The public is challenged away. Is this entire event truly real, or is it a fabrication designed to attract media attention? This question becomes very crucial because in the digital information era, the line between fact and sensation is increasingly blurred. Are we, as a global audience, merely passive consumers of drama deliberately produced to create waves of opinion, or are we witnessing a reality that truly shakes the personal lives of public figures? If Jungkook's health condition is indeed strange as mentioned, why did the information appear through the emotional channel of a mother, not through an official communication mechanism? Shouldn't such a big issue be delivered in a more structured way? Or is it precisely this irregularity that strengthens the impression of honesty? This is the dilemma that must be weighed carefully. Taehyung's tears seem genuine, but isn't emotion also something that can be used as a dramatic strategy to amplify public attention? At this point, readers are forced to ask, which is more likely, a sincere honesty or a scenario played out very neatly? The public must also realize that this news spread mainly through mediums prone to manipulation, such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and several other media channels. These platforms are known to prioritize speed of distribution and visual appeal over factual accuracy. Isn't there a big possibility that this narrative has gone through various distortions, framings, even visual fabrications, before finally reaching the public? Are ARMY reacting to reality, or merely to fragments of information already constructed to trigger a mass emotional explosion? On the one hand, it is easy to understand why ARMY is so carried away by feelings. Jungkook is not just an artist. He is a symbol of hope, strength, and consistency. Hearing that his health is disturbed will clearly trigger global panic. But is this panic being exploited by certain parties? Has Taehyung's tears become a tool of legitimacy so that the mother's confession is considered undeniable? These questions cannot be ignored because in the history of the entertainment industry, it is not uncommon for the emotions of artists to be used as tools to create public sensation. If so, the public is not only a victim of manipulation, but also part of a deliberately designed issue distribution strategy. Furthermore, the public must dare to question, does the confession about Jungkook's strange condition have a clear medical basis? Or was the term strange chosen because it can stir fear and curiosity? If indeed there is a disease or medical condition, why not state it concretely? Isn't the lack of clarity precisely fertile ground for speculation and hoaxes? If that is true, who benefits from this cloud of uncertainty? Is it the artist, management, media, or even the public hungry for drama? Every possibility opens up sharper suspicion. Skepticism becomes a necessity. Did Taehyung really cry because of Jungkook's health reasons? Or did he cry for another reason that was later interpreted unilaterally by the public? Isn't it possible that the recording of the tears could be cut, edited, or given additional narration he never intended? This question must be asked so that we do not fall into the trap of visuals that appear authentic but have actually gone through framing manipulation. In the midst of the flood of information, isn't criticism the last shield to protect ourselves from deception? In addition, another reflection that needs to be raised is whether we, as news consumers, are too quick to link everything to big dramatic theories. Isn't it possible that tears were merely a personal outpouring of emotion, without direct connection to a serious health condition? Or have we become so accustomed to conspiratorial thinking that every small detail is always considered a sign of something bigger? Are we seeking truth, or just convincing ourselves that the entertainment world always hides dark secrets? Such provocative questions need to be asked continuously. Did Jungkook's mother truly want to expose facts? Or was she merely part of a narrative constructed by others? In many cases, haven't artists' families also been trapped in the whirlpool of sensationalism to maintain public attention? Or conversely, could it be that she spoke out because she could no longer bear to see her son carrying the burden for too long? In all these possibilities, readers are forced to realize that there are no simple answers, and every version of the story contains motives worth suspecting. At this point, the public should begin to think about the consequences of every stance taken. If they fully believe, then they must be ready to accept the possibility that Jungkook is indeed in a fragile condition. However, if it turns out that all this is just fabrication, haven't they wasted emotional energy on a false narrative? And if the truth can never be confirmed, isn't it the public themselves who will remain trapped in a circle of manipulation, always hungry for new drama without ever really knowing the reality behind it? The bitter reality that must be faced is that the information circulating now has not yet been fully verified. All the news fragments we consume, whether through TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, or other online media, are only representations that may be far from the original truth. Are we brave enough to admit that maybe we are playing in a room of illusion? Or are we more comfortable letting ourselves sink into sensation because it gives momentary emotional satisfaction? This question is important because it determines the direction of how the public will consume news in the future. In the end, one thing that must be underlined is the importance of a reflective and skeptical attitude. Do not just ask what happened, but also ask who benefits, how the narrative is shaped, and why we choose to believe. Are Taehyung's tears truly a symbol of honesty, or are they just a fragment of a bigger drama? Is Jungkook's mother's confession a cry of truth, or merely an emotional strategy? Are ARMY reacting to reality, or to illusions wrapped in a very neat narrative? All these questions do not offer easy answers, but that is precisely the essence of critical thinking. Because in a world where information can be produced, manipulated, and marketed like a commodity, truth often becomes a luxury item that is difficult to obtain. The public must choose. Do they want to be passive consumers of sensational drama, or critical spectators capable of separating fact from manipulation? This moment should be a mirror, not only about Jungkook or Taehyung, but also about how we all consume information in a digital era full of traps.